Hey guys, thank you for checking out the video. My name is G and you're watching Keeping This Tech. It's Apple season in full effect. Today we're looking at the Series 4 stainless steel gold Apple Watch. I have a whole bunch of bands that I'm going to try on it to see how it looks, and we're also going to do a quick overview. What's cool is last year my first video on YouTube was me unboxing the Series 3, so it's kind of cool to come full circle. Now this Apple Watch is incredible. This is the first time Apple's actually done a complete redesign of the Apple Watch. Now of course they've done some tweaks here and there, but nothing quite like this. So the new sizes for the Apple Watch are 40 and 44 millimeters, and that's the one that I happen to have here. That's replacing the 38 and the 42 millimeter, which is the one that I had last year for the Series 3. Now what's interesting about this is that even though it's only 2 millimeters, using the watch, like interacting with it, the screen seems so much bigger. Like it seems massive. You're able to interact with, alerts and notifications and a whole bunch of stuff way easier now because of the display. But at the same time, it doesn't take up that much more space on your wrist. In fact, it feels about the same on your wrist as before. So I just think that's pretty interesting that they were able to do that. Speaking of it being on your wrist, it's very light. It's not as thick as before, and it's not as heavy as the Series 3 was. And in fact, the size reminds me a lot of the Series 0. Now, so for the speakers, they're much louder now, and that's because there's two of them. The microphone has been moved over in between the digital crown and the side button, so there should be no interference with echoing or anything like that. Speaking of the digital crown, instead of that bright red dot, you now have a subtle burgundy ring. That's what it looks like more to me. It looks more burgundy than red to me on the digital crown, which is very nice. I prefer that way more than that red dot. Now the side button's very interesting because it's flush now. It's almost like a trap door. Like if you didn't know it was there, you'd probably miss it. So you literally have to go for it, and it allows you to open up your dock and interact with the watch. Another nice inclusion is the haptic feedback that you get as you're scrolling and using the digital crown in that way. So I think it's really cool what they did here. The back features a brand new heart rate sensor that'll be able to monitor for AFib, and you can use it in conjunction with the digital crown later on to get an ECG, and you can send that data off to your physician if that's going to be necessary. Hey, listen, I think this is amazing what they're doing. They've added a ceramic and sapphire to the back panel as well, to allow for better LTE reception. So not only will LTE pass through the front sapphire glass, but also through the bottom. So overall, man, I think they've really done a good job with the design. Now on the inside, you have a brand new dual-core 64-bit processor called the S4 chip. Apple says it's 2 times faster than last year. 16 gigs of storage across the board. The brand new W3 chip and Bluetooth 5.0. There are new sensors and improvements to the gyroscope now to detect if you've taken a hard fall. That's actually a really good feature. It's off by default if you're under 65, but you can go ahead and change that. And basically, if it detects that you've taken a hard fall, it'll check in on you and say, hey, are you all right? And if you hadn't responded or have not responded in a minute, then it'll call emergency services and whoever you have as your emergency contact. So I think that's very useful to have because you never know when something like this could happen. You don't have to necessarily be old for you to take a hard fall. So I think that's good on Apple for getting the Apple Watch to this point. All right, what else is new? Oh, yes, the watch faces. There are 2 exclusive watch faces that accommodate the bigger display, and then the new smoke, fire, and water watch faces allow for a full screen display. Other than that, everything is pretty much the same as it relates to watch faces. So a few of my friends have actually hit me up and have asked me, hey, you got the new watch, what do you think? Is it worth upgrading? Now with all the specs and all the fancy stuff, marketing language, all that stuff aside, I don't notice a really big difference between the Series 3 and the Series 4 as it relates to functionality. Like watchOS 5 brings a lot of parity between the two devices. I mean, I can walkie-talkie with anybody with a Series 4 or a Series 3. A lot of the workout apps, the low heart rate detection, all of that stuff is the same. So to me, again, using it day to day, I don't notice a difference. And sure, the Series 3 is technically now slower than the Series 4, but I don't notice the speed increase on the Series 4. If anything, it behaves the same. It's weird for me to say that, but it's just my experience, and what can I tell you? If you're going to be upgrading from the Series 3 to the Series 4, AFib detection and ECG aside, I'd say you do it for the design, the style of it. For me, the gold finish was definitely a selling point. Like, I wear my Apple Watch with everything. Like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing, I'm wearing an Apple Watch. So for me to be able to dress it up, wear it with a suit or wear it with sweatpants, makes a big deal for me. And that's why I've always gone with the stainless steel versions of the Apple Watch in previous years. So to have the gold one now is a big deal. Now, here's another thing. If you're coming from the Series 1 or the Series 2, absolutely go for the Apple Watch Series 4. It makes absolute sense. The other thing I'd say too is that if you're, more apprehensive about, spending all this money on an Apple Watch and it's your first one, maybe get the Series 3, test the waters out with that, and then move into, Series 5 or Series 6 or the next version of it. Again, I feel like the Series 3 is still very capable and very, very good. Either way, Apple killed it with the redesign and they killed it with this brand new gold finish. It's your boy G. You've been watching Keeping This Tech. Please make sure to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the other side. Peace.